Kyle Lowry leaving the Toronto Raptors? That is a question that many Raptors fans are going to be asking themselves this offseason come July 1st, in just a couple of days of this video going up. Welcome guys, I'm HopGod, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the whole Kyle Lowry situation in my first NBA video. Let me know if you guys do enjoy this. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below, and also be sure to drop a like on it, and let's get right into it. So Kyle Lowry is a huge free agent in this market for this year's offseason. There are many other big names like Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, but realistically we do know that they're staying in place. So Kyle Lowry is definitely one that could be on his way out, or I'd say is more likely to be on his way out of his current team. So we are going to go over a few possibilities and just kind of some deciding factors that could eventually shape up to where Kyle Lowry will sign come July 1st or a couple days after. So the Raptors are 6th in the NBA in team payrolls, so that is very, very high. They are well over the cap, so they're spending a lot of money, and they don't have a lot of extra money to give. It is going up though, the salary cap, but still the Raptors are still over it, and they are currently paying $108 million. This is as of last season, 2016-17. So with Kyle Lowry being out, Patrick Patterson, Tucker, and Serge Ibaka, they are obviously going to be under it, but to re-sign Kyle Lowry, they are definitely going to have to splash some cash his way, and then also if they want to make some other moves. So a lot of people are saying that they're actually going to have to give him what they would assume is a max deal for Kyle Lowry, as obviously Raptors have his bird rights. I don't know if the Raptors are prepared to give him a super max deal, 5 years, especially if they know that he's already like 31 or 32. It just really doesn't make that much sense in my books, because by the time his contract is up, he's going to be like 36 or 37. You don't really want a 36 or 37-year-old making like $30 million or how much ever it's going to be. So Kyle Lowry and the Toronto Raptors are in a very sticky situation, and this relates to Masai Ujiri, the but the president of basketball operations for the Toronto Raptors. And this also ties into his situation because he is getting linked to the New York Knicks, and how the New York Knicks want to acquire him after they just recently fired Phil Jackson. So that could be a whole like different situation in its own. That's just going to be absolutely crazy. We really don't know what's going on with the NBA right now, but as it stands right now, Masai Ujiri is in Toronto. So with Masai Ujiri in Toronto, I would feel that he's going to pursue Kyle Lowry back. And then also another deciding factor that could be shaping Lowry's decision is the other teams that are obviously interested in. Houston was a big team going after an all-star point guard, but they just traded for Chris Paul with that huge trade with the LA Clippers, which they sent a total of 7 players over. The LA Clippers received 7 players for Chris Paul. Of course, there's like 2 of them that were kind of just like D-leagues, I think, or something like that, but still 7 players and a pick. So realistically like 8 players pretty much, which is retarded, and Houston only got 1 player. So Houston is definitely, I'd say, going to be signing some like cheap veteran players just to kind of like fill up their roster. So yeah, Houston was a huge front runner for Kyle Lowry, but now they've obviously dropped out. San Antonio Spurs are still definitely an option, but with the recent drama with LaMarcus Aldridge, and especially if LaMarcus Aldridge leave, I'm not sure how much Kyle Lowry would actually want to go to the Spurs, because yes, they still do have Kawhi Leonard, but Tony Parker is getting old. So is Manu Ginobili. Bro, his hair's gone. Like, bye-bye. And they just really don't have that many options. And they also do have what it would seem a pretty promising young point guard in Patty Mills, who could develop to possibly overtake that starting point guard spot from Kyle Lowry in a couple of years, to be realistically, especially with Lowry getting older. So yeah, I don't know how much Kyle Lowry would actually like the situation in San Antonio, but it's still an option with Greg Popovich at the coaching position, which is definitely what players like to see. So yeah, that one could be interesting in its own right. And then also Philadelphia 76ers. I would say this one was also getting a lot of attention, but now, especially with the recent events of the NBA draft, with Philadelphia trading up to that #1 pick with Boston, so they could actually draft Markelle Fultz for sure. This one also loses like its value, like it might not happen, like it's less likely to happen for Kyle Lowry to actually go to the 76ers, because the 76ers do now have Markelle Fultz there. But still, I'm pretty sure Markelle Fultz could actually play like the shooting guard position and Lowry at the point guard. So it would still definitely work, and it is also Kyle Lowry's hometown. Kyle Lowry was born in Philadelphia, lived there for probably most of his like childhood leading up his career in the NBA, and he's never played there before, I don't believe. So that'd definitely be like a reason why he just want to like go home or something, you know, just to kind of end his career off in his hometown. But realistically, he is getting old, but it's not really time for him to kind of like think about the last team he wants to play for. You know, he's still gonna have a couple good more seasons as like at an all-star point guard level. So Philadelphia, I'd say it's more likely than San Antonio, but I really don't see that happening either, if you guys do know what I mean by that. And then DeMar DeRozan also kind of released a quote earlier that was kind of just like talking about the whole Kyle Lowry situation and just some of his feelings and stuff about it. The quote reads, DeRozan will kind of respect any decision that Lowry will make as long as he tells me. So as long as he tells me and I don't have to read it, I'm completely fine with it, DeRozan told reporters. So DeRozan seems to be like pretty confident that like this quote to me kind of seems like that DeRozan is assuming that Lowry's going to stay, because really like he doesn't really expect him to go anywhere else, especially if he says as long as he tells me type of thing. So yeah, I don't know. To me, DeMar DeRozan is definitely a huge impact and a huge reason why Kyle Lowry would want to stay. But if Kyle Lowry were to leave, then Toronto would actually be able to bring in a bunch of new younger players. And the reason why Kyle Lowry actually leaving the Raptors would help them is because they have so much more money, because they wouldn't be paying $30 million on a point guard, so they'd be able to probably sign another point guard. But then there's not really that much available in the off season besides like Stephen Curry, but realistically he's staying in San Antonio. So I really don't know who they could actually get as a replacement for Kyle Lowry if they were just to lose him in flat out free agency. So that'll be interesting to see. And yeah, that's pretty much it I have for Kyle Lowry and the Toronto Raptors. Let me know if you guys did enjoy the video. I am just going to talk a little bit more about the Raptors and their whole roster and kind of just like the rest of the team, because this is a Kyle Lowry video and I figured I should just talk about the whole Raptors and, you know, just to kind of wrap up the video. So what I'm thinking is that in the future, Serge Ibaka, that I feel like they will re-sign Serge Ibaka if they can get him for a good price, because Serge Ibaka is a very, very good veteran power forward. Just the thing with him though is that he is also getting kind of old. Like he's not super old, but he's in the same boat as Kyle Lowry. And the Raptors, they do need a solid power forward. Don't get me wrong. They can't start Patrick Patterson. Even if they do decide to re-sign Patrick Patterson. I'm going to get into that after. But yeah, Serge Ibaka would be an ideal starting power forward because he can shoot the three-pointer. But I just know they don't want to pay like super big money for him, because what they realistically want, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and Serge Ibaka. And I don't know if you want to consider Valanciunas as like one of those big names in the Toronto Raptors organization quite yet. I do feel that Jonas Valanciunas still has quite a few more years to go where he could actually be considered as a like all-star center for the team. But also that leads me into, I think the Toronto Raptors, could actually be trading Jonas Valanciunas, because in my opinion, that would be great, because he is eating up a lot of money. Like Jonas Valanciunas, you guys might not realize this, but he signed a huge extension, I want to say last summer, but I'm not too sure about that. But he is making bank, especially for a 24-year-old center from Lithuania. Like, I do get it, he's alright, but he's gonna make $15 million next season, $16 million in 2018-2019, and then almost $18 million in 2019-2020, which is huge for a center that it's not really an all-star center. He's kind of like an alright player. So yeah, that is definitely going to be a huge area of concern for the Toronto Raptors. How are they going to handle Jonas Valanciunas? Is he going to stay, or are they going to trade him? At the draft, they were actually trying to ship him and their draft pick to get a sort of deal, maybe to move up in the draft, or just to acquire a good player, maybe like Jimmy Butler, how he was on the market, but kind of slipped away. And also, small forwards, Damari Carroll is also going to eat up a ton of money. Over the next 2 seasons, he's going to make over $30 million, like $15 million each season pretty much. And that is absolutely terrible, because Damari Carroll, besides like being like a above average defender on defense, like he's not special or anything, he's not locking down LeBron James, but he holds his own. Besides that, he's doing nothing. Like he'll hit up maybe 1-3 a game, but he'll attempt like 4 more. And, you know, just Damari Carroll is just a huge liability. We all saw that PJ Tucker was definitely the better option to use in the playoffs for the Toronto Raptors at the small forward position. And PJ Tucker is also a free agent. He got $5.3 million last season, Not too sure how much he's actually going to expect to make, because as he is a bench player, I don't really think he can ask for that much more, like realistically what the Raptors would actually give him. But definitely he still could go up a couple more million, and that would be, I don't know if the Raptors would actually be willing to sign PJ Tucker for that much money, you know what I mean? So PJ Tucker, definitely another hole. And the last free agent to round this off is Patrick Patterson. Patrick Patterson can be a very up and down player, but he had a huge stretch after the All-Star break, I do believe, or maybe it was before the All-Star break, I'm not too sure, where he just couldn't hit a single shot, wasn't getting rebounds. He was just a huge liability in the Raptors team. And yeah, this was, I think, around the All-Star break. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind with the trade deadline All-Star break. This was before we got Serge Ibaka. We just had no one at the power forward position. This was one of the main reasons why why I say we, because I'm a Toronto Raptors fan, but this is actually a huge reason why why the Raptors traded for Serge Ibaka. I keep saying it like I'm part of the Raptors, like I'm just a YouTuber, who's man. But yeah, Patrick Patterson could be also on the move. Don't really know if they want to actually re-sign him. And then also the last thing I want to talk about is the rookie OG Anunoby. Oh my god, this guy looks amazing. And this guy could be a sub for DeMarre Carroll. So if DeMarre Carroll would get traded, OG Anunoby, if they develop him well, or we just get like a better small forward or something like that, and maybe like a Paul George or Gordon Hayward, I don't really think that would fit in within the Raptors budget unless they obviously traded someone like DeMarre Carroll or Jonas Valanciunas. But you know, those are just all possibilities. So to recap on the whole Lowry point of this video, Lowry, my personal opinion, I think that he's staying with the Toronto Raptors, but options are San Antonio, where there's a good young point guard behind him who could overtake him in a couple years, and there's only really Kawhi Leonard beside him, because Paul Gasol, I think, could be opting out of he opted out of his contract, but he might still be coming back. LaMarcus Aldridge wants out of there, and yeah, it just doesn't really seem like that good of a situation anymore, as glorious as the San Antonio Spurs are. And then also Philadelphia, his hometown, young team around him, so he could be like a solid veteran, play alongside Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Dario Saric. The list just goes on. Philadelphia could be a very attractive place for him to go, and he could definitely get paid there, because all those guys are like pretty much on rookie contracts, which is just amazing for him. And yeah, so I'd say those are the two top options. The third other option was Houston, but with the trade of Chris Paul, that is definitely not happening. So yeah, my prediction, he's staying with the Toronto Raptors. Let me know in the comment section down below, where do you guys think Kyle Lowry is going? Anyways, I also just wanted to say, if you guys did enjoy this kind of style of video or whatever, like if you guys enjoy me talking about NBA and stuff like that, because I'm a huge basketball fan, oh my god. Yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, and I will be sure to do so. I'm just trying to mix it up on the channel a little bit, you know. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Have a great day, and peace out.